Oh.
All right, we're live now. Let me just get the link. Why is my computer so slow today?
Let me share.
I'm gonna share.
All right, that's the link. Just send it out.
Yep. Yeah, I put it on.
Okay, you're dropping off.
Yeah, I'm gonna drop off at some point. I'll have to figure out how to end this stream remotely.
I'll send it in both. You just sent it under announcement. Oh, you already sent it. Okay.
Yeah. Hello, everybody. Hello, the 3 people that are on here right now.
There's already 3 people. Nice. Okay. All right. I'll let a few more people join. So we're at the top of this major hourly channel. This is contained this whole drop so far, so it's pretty significant. I don't expect to clear it super easily. And so far we're rejected right off the top. I think we need above around 56.20 to safely, like an hourly close above there to claim that, okay, we're out of this channel. But as I said yesterday, if you're looking at this from a longer term zoomed out view, we need all the way back about 5803, in my opinion, 5800, 5803 on ES to really get bullish. It's pretty bearish until we get there. Let's look at SPY between 2 zones right now. If you want this, I wouldn't do anything right now until we're above 559.62. I wouldn't really be forcing any trades here. I'm not sure what it's going to do next. So either you want a test of this zone and a hold, but ideally you don't even want to really play this zone just because this is a pretty tight range. A good setup here would be a reclaim of this top zone and then a retest and bounce to play calls. If you want to try shorts, I would wait for a breakdown of this lower zone and then a retest and rejection. So the 2 setups that, in my opinion, would be the best to wait for would be this with the entry here, or this with the entry here. And Safest is to play the reclaim at least off an hourly close. So you wait on the hour to claim or break down, and then a 10-minute for the retest for the entry. If you want to be aggressive, you can do the whole thing off 10-minute candles. Just it's more likely you might get faked out then. So just be maybe size down or be a bit more careful if you're playing off lower time frame candles.
Can we just get one sustained move upwards? You wonder.
Yeah, just another inside day. I just feel like they're gonna. I mean, I could be wrong. It just feels like they want to keep chopping this more. If we break out of that hourly range, though, I think we're gonna shoot up. But until then, more chop, in my opinion.
Just awful. Son of a gun.
I would also. So if we. I'm just gonna add one more possible setup that I would take. If we break down here and then do a reclaim retest, I would long this because of the liquidity grab down here. Like, even though there is a zone right up here, I would totally long a reclaim retest. But if we simply just test this lower zone and start bouncing, I don't think that's worth longing. So you want one of these three setups, in my opinion, to play. Until that happens, I don't know. It just feels like you're kind of playing chop and guessing. You might make money, you might not. Because false breakdowns lead to some of the craziest moves up. Like, if you get a breakdown and a reclaim, you grabbed more buyers down here, and there's just more fuel to lift it higher. Oh, and we said this yesterday, but if you're just joining, hit the cog button on YouTube on the bottom and the settings button, go to playback speed and set that to 2 until it catches up to live. Otherwise, you're going to be a bit delayed. So that should minimize the delay between me and you guys.
I'm talking to support having 2 owners of the stream or whatever.
The what? Oh.
The stream. Oh. This.
And I'd mentioned yesterday we want yield to continue going up. We are seeing that, so that's a good sign. I do think the equities should start tracking to this again and be positively correlated. And I'd also mentioned I want above 4.4 on this to get really bullish. And I think the correlation is going to start flipping back to negative around 4.5. And I think we're going to see the yield roll over once we hit that. But for now, these are good signs. I want yield higher right now, just because the economic outlook right now is so weak that there's a positive correlation between yield and equities. Breaking down a bit, so we're testing this zone. Ideally, you want to see this hold if you're bullish, and with a reclaim of the upper zone. If this breaks down, this you have one of these two things happening. Then a retest. If it fails, then you can attempt a short. If you get a reclaim, then a retest of the zone, you can do a long. Really, you want that first breakdown or hold to be with an hourly candle for safety. Well, these look all messed up now that let me redraw these. Okay, they just literally draw like that on the hour. You get what I mean.
5.
I don't know why my drawings look like that. No. But yeah, if you've been watching from the start, you know what I mean.
Music is crazy.
The what? The music?
I don't know. It's just like real, like bossa nova. Let's do Twitter.
I'm still in nothing. I'm just waiting for one of the two setups that I've. Oh, there's one more setup that I've drawn out here. I'm going to be patient. I just think between these two zones, it's a lot of chop. Third setup would be. Just gonna look at tech really quick. We do have bearish momentum. Normally, you don't want to be going long when you see that. Tech, same thing. It's between these two. I feel like it's a similar setup. There's going to be chop between these two zones. Today, tech is weaker, I think, compared to SPY. Yeah.
Corey says silver and gold both look double top. Any possible position there?
Let me pull up gold. Yeah, gold's hitting this top zone. I'm not adding any shorts here on gold. I'm just waiting. I think this needs to come down all the way to at least this lower zone, probably lower. But yeah, right now the PA looks bullish, but there's a lot of resting sell orders at the highs here, and I think those are going to hold. And then yeah, I'm looking for this to curl up here and at the minimum retest this. I feel like it could go all the way down here. to the 2890, 2900 area. So if in 8 minutes we close below this zone, you have these two setups, in my opinion, that you could play. The bottom two, either the reclaim retest or a rejection on the back test of this lower zone. All right, DoubleDips is heading out. It's just me for a little bit, I think. And yeah, I'll stick around for a little bit, try to get a trade in. And if you get bored, just close the stream because I might be quiet for a while. So far, it does look like we're going to lose this zone on the hourly. There's 5 minutes left. So yeah, let's see what happens. There's an ES zone here that I'm watching, and it's holding so far. It's actually kind of significant. We've held this like 4 times. And we basically went all the way down to this lower level too. Okay, so hourly did close below the support zone. Yeah, I'm tempted to do like a stab here for a long. Safer setup is a reclaim of this zone though with a retest. And if you're looking at a short rejection of this upper zone. I'm going to grab some small calls here at least. Yeah, I'll just keep it small for now. I'm trying to stab off this lower level. So I'll get the 5.5, let's do the 5.56, 0 DTE. Okay, I'm in for 2.16. Sorry, 2.1, yeah, 2.16. So I'm looking for the hourly to hold this level, and I'm looking for a reclaim. I'll trim on a reclaim, and then if the retest hold, then you hold the runners. Otherwise, you can probably pull your stops up on the runners if that happens. So first goal is to reclaim this zone up here. I don't know how. Oh, you're still here? Oh, no, never mind. He's not here. There's a way to write on the screen what I'm in. I don't know how to do that. But yeah, I'm in 5.56, 0 DTE for now, small size calls. What's your bench up to now, big dog? It's I don't know. I haven't maxed in so long. Plus, I haven't been that serious. I still lift 4 to 5, probably 5 times a week for like 40 minutes. If I had to guess, probably like mid 300s max. Like I had gotten to 4 plates, but that was when I was lifting an hour and a half a day, 6 days a week, everything perfect. On a good day, maybe mid 300s, maybe like somewhere between 330 to 350. 330 I can do, maybe 350, but I haven't tested in a while. All right, so got a little pop, I think. So if you're conservative, you can trim on even a test of this zone. I will take one small trim here. I'm just trimming 1/3 at 2.51. No, 2.56 fill. I'm not moving. So if you want to be conservative, you can pull your stops up right now to break even. If you want to be a bit more aggressive, don't pull the stops in yet. If you really do want stops and are okay being aggressive, put it on like SPY losing 553.4 or 553.45, then you can stop out the rest. I haven't put any stops in on 2/3 for now. Okay, so we're back at the zone. You could take another trim here if you want. I just have 2 contracts left. Okay, I'll trim one, and then I'm really bad at holding runners, so I definitely will not close the other one. I got 2.73. Could have been better, I think. Oh no, 2.76. Okay. So at this point, if you care about that last one, you should pull your stops up into profit or break even. And now we're looking for a reclaim. If we can get a reclaim, then that's really strong. If we get a reclaim and a retest, that's a chance to long again, even add to the longs. But let's see if we can reclaim this on the hourly. I'll pull my stops up to break even for now, just because in case we don't reclaim this and reject. So stops on runners to break even. Or if you want to put it in profit, you can do that too. Okay. Yep, still no reclaim. So we want the hourly back above. Oh, we have two bullish divergences on the hourly. You want these to stick though by the close of the candle. So right now it is a good sign, but the real trigger is if this sticks, then normally in most cases you will see some continuation for at least one more candle, usually at least two candles, and that's an hourly candle, so it's usually followed by a big move if this sticks in 50 minutes. And it works both ways. If you see a bearish, like yesterday when we were doing our trade, we had popped off CPI, and then I had pointed out that be careful, there's an hourly bearish divergence developing, and we didn't do anything. We didn't chase it, and I said let's just wait, and we saw a rejection off that, and then we longed the dip off our levels. So this can work the opposite way. So let's see if this sticks in 49 minutes. Okay, we're above the zone, so good sign. Still a lot of time left, so I want to close above this zone, and then we might even go back in longs. Like I said, if like I have a runner still, I might add to it if we close above and retest and hold this zone here. Okay, that's pretty good. So on this runner, if we just blast off, I'll probably take it off. I guess I could hold all the way to the top zone. I said I suck at holding runners. And I feel like I'm about to close this one. Okay, I'm gonna flatten this out, and I'll hope for a retest of the zone to get back in. Okay, so I'm closing out for now. 3.33, I'm out. Of course, it's gonna blast off now. Every time. Okay, so now that I'm flat, what I'm looking for is, let me redraw this. So if we want to get back in, you're looking for so you're looking for something like this. Oops. And your entry is here. I don't know why it doesn't draw properly, but you get the idea. And then you don't want, well, I guess if you want to short, what you want is this hourly to wick down. I mean, with two bullish divergences, I probably wouldn't short it. Personally, if those stick, even if we lose this zone, but if you want to short, what you would want to see is this closes below this hourly, and then on the 10-minute, it tests this zone, and the 10-minute candle closes back below the zone, and you would enter on that, the close of the 10-minute candle below the zone. But I like I said, if you have these divergences, I try to avoid fighting them if they stick on the candle close. But yeah, and there's a good chance we don't even test the zone, and just rip, and then I'll regret selling my runner like I always do. But yeah, okay. These drawings look like a 3-year-old drew them. I'm gonna try to fix them. I don't know why trading these. All right. So we're waiting for one of these now. I regret selling my runner. I feel like this is just gonna blast off. Alright, I'll just be patient. This is what I want. This blue setup is what I'm hoping for. And honestly, if we test this zone and hold it, I feel like it'll be much easier to get through this upper zone if we do this versus just this. I'm not saying it's not possible, but this would be, because you grab buyers when you retest zones like this, and then it definitely helps for the next leg up. Oh my god, what did I do? 3.83 now. if we hit this zone right away, look for, sorry, so many arrows on your screen. So look for another possible play here would be claiming the zone, this entry here, to chase it higher. I still prefer this middle arrow though. Okay, so let's see if we can get back to this zone, and then if this holds, I'm going back in. Wow. Okay, so we've hit the top zone already. I feel like this top arrow might be in play. How many people are watching? Let's see. 13. Wow. I was expecting like 3. Sorry if I'm boring you guys. I'm not in anything. I exited a bit early, but I'm waiting for another setup. I don't want to just go in. Like you could, if that hourly divergence sticks, you could probably target a gap fill at least up to I guess that's what, 560 or so, right? Oh, maybe not. I think we already filled the gap. Never mind. But yeah, if that hourly divergence sticks, I might just blindly just go in. But ideally, I'd want one of these setups that I've drawn out. One of these top 2 ones. Oh, there's people asking questions. Okay, sorry. I'm just reading these. What's your reasoning on the 10-minute? I know you always mention using 3-minute. So when I started scalping, I was all about the 3-minute, but I was also going for a very quick, smaller. Like I would size a bit higher, and I would go for smaller moves, which is fine. Like if you use the 3-minute, it'll work. You're just gonna you need to be okay with. Let me remove all this shit off. Hold on. So, oops. So you just need to be okay with getting. It can like fake you out basically, and you really can't go for huge moves when you're playing off the 3-minute. And that holds for any time frame. Like if you go on the hourly, you can go for bigger moves just because you're on a bigger time frame. If you go down to the 1-minute, which I do not recommend, you can't use that as a reliable indicator for a huge move. It just won't work. So I find that the 10-minute is a nice medium where I can see enough confirmation, and it doesn't force me to kind of rush in either. The hourly is honestly one of my favorite time frames. This is what I use for that initial confirmation of a support holding or support resistance holding or breaking down. Yeah, so that I stick to mainly hourly and 10-minute for scalping. I rarely do go below that. Sometimes if I'm watching Turbo, I'll go to the 5-minute, but that's only to see what it's showing. I will still do my confirmations off the hourly and 10-minute. Okay, so we're back. We rejected that top zone, and now we're testing this. If this holds on, I guess we still have half an hour, so we have to wait for the hourly to close. But if the hourly closes above and the 10-minute test this and starts bouncing, it's another entry to long. If you're aggressive, you could probably already go in now. I don't think I will take it yet. Yeah, I'm just gonna wait. But if you're aggressive, this is like the close of this red candle testing the zone. You already kind of have a trigger going because it's bouncing off. Wow. Yeah, I won't FOMO in. I'm gonna wait like I planned. I'll wait for the hourly to close next. Can you please re-explain looking at the 1 hour candle at the zones and then going down to 10-minute? You mentioned that earlier. Yeah, so let's do an example. Let me turn this off. So what I mean by that is if I go to the hourly, so let's say, so what I mean by the first initial hourly confirmation is this candle, for example. If this candle on the hourly time frame reclaims this lower zone, that's the first step. You've accomplished the first step of that favorite setup that I had pointed out, which was like this, right? And I said enter here. So you've accomplished this part, this first part of the reclaim. And you want that on the hourly. You want that reclaim on the hourly. If you're playing it safe like I am right now. If you're not playing it safe, you can do it off the 10-minute. And then the next step, what I look for is I'll go down to the 10-minute. And at this point, the hourly has claimed. We're assuming the hourly has closed above the zone, so you have a successful reclaim. Now, in the 10-minute, what you want to see is a candle like this works. You see this red candle. This tested the zone, and then all you want next is a green candle closing above the zone, and that is your entry. So if this green candle closes anywhere above the zone, that's your entry to go long. If it closes back below the zone or closes in the zone, it's not confirmation yet that this zone is held. Does that make sense? And it could also just all happen in one single candle. Let's say if this red candle wicked into the zone and then closed green, that's good enough for me to confirm a retest and hold of the zone just off one 10-minute candle. But that initial candle, like I said, for me, I want the hourly to confirm a reclaim. If I'm being aggressive, I'll just count this as a reclaim. But right now, I haven't been aggressive just because price action's crazy. I hope that makes sense. Stanzie Gold is exploding higher. Is this a good long up here or toppy? I personally wouldn't long gold because, like I said earlier, I think it's going to top out around here. I might be wrong, but based on the order book, there's way too many sells all the way up to like 29.80, and I don't know. Just to me, at least, the risk reward seems not worth it to long. The price action does look great though. If you're going strictly off price action, then you'd want a reclaim of this all-time high zone, and then a retest of that to long to like 3,000. But no, I personally think it's going to top out soon. I'm not going to long it right now. I think there's way too many buys sitting at 2,900, 2,914 that need to get tapped for this to do the next leg. And for gold, I trade mostly just off the order book. I do use my levels, but the order book tends to line up with my levels. And to me, the liquidity is just too thin right now to just hope for this to continue to go higher. It might, but I'm not betting on that. One sec. I'm getting a call. I'll be right back. Yeah, so this is why I wait for confirmations. So this hourly might not even reclaim here, despite it testing all the way up here. So you might not even get the first step of the trigger that we want to go along, which would be a reclaim of the zone on the hourly. We still have 20 minutes, so we'll see. And if these divergences stick, like I said earlier, I'll probably just, I don't recommend everyone do this, but I'll probably just go in with small size on calls. Just even if we close below this zone, if these stick, I'll probably just stab along with small size, just because probability wise, you usually get at least one continuation candle off these divergences that you see. It's not guaranteed, but in my opinion, it's at least worth a shot. If we manage to close above the zone, that's even better. More confidence then. I'll be back in like 10 minutes because I'm not doing anything till the hourly closes anyways. Be right back. Okay, I'm back. Still below the zone, but hourly's closed now. Okay, I'm gonna go. Well, I'm gonna go into calls right now. I was hoping to get a better fill. 557s. Got 1.97. It's small again, and I'm just playing this, even though we're below the zone, which normally you don't enter here, but because this divergence stuck, I'm playing a continuation of it. And we didn't get that great of a fill either. Like normally you want to enter right as the hourly closes, and then targeting same thing, this top zone eventually. But we'll trim along the way. I could see some resistance at 558 if we get there. I'm keeping it small, by the way. None of these are sized up. I'm doing 2 to 3 contracts each time. I only did 2 this time. So I'm just going to be scaling off once and twice. I'll probably move my stops up after the first scale off around 558-ish. These look messy as hell. So we're in calls right now, small size, just playing the divergence, and I'm looking for around here. We might reject here, so I'll probably trim off if we get around here and then move my stops up. And yeah, I'm just playing the divergence. We're not playing this trigger yet. There's no trigger besides this divergence. If this blue candle, blue arrow path happens, it's a re-entry. At what point would you say that the entry has failed and one should exit? So if you're going off a trigger, let's say you're playing this blue arrow trigger and your entry's at this blue circle. You can use a 10-minute candle close below this zone to stop out if that's the reason that you enter, because that in a way invalidates this zone holding, because you're basically betting on this zone to hold and grab liquidity and cause a move up. So if you lose the zone, it becomes resistance, and that would be your stop out. In this case, if the reason for entry, like for me here, is an hourly divergence, you could, if you want to use a stop, you could use the one I had mentioned earlier, which is yesterday's low. I just sized way lower, so I'm willing to. I'm basically, the reason I'm sizing down is because I'm willing to lose what I'm putting in. So I'm just betting on this divergence to eventually play out on the next hour or two. It's possible it won't. So if you want to use a stop, I would use it at a loss of yesterday's low. But for any of these triggers, the stop should ideally be on the other side of the trigger zone. So if it's a call off a support, then the loss of the support should be your stop. If it's a put off a resistance, break up of that resistance zone should be your stop. So weak reaction so far of the hourly. I'm still gonna wait to see if it eventually plays out. Yeah, no problem. Was I muted while I said all that? Did you hear? Did I answer your question, Corey? I just noticed I was muted. I don't know if I'm muted before or after. I'll just answer it again in case I was muted for that whole time. I was saying that, so you asked, would you ever buy down here? So if the question is, would I enter a trade off this divergence here? Sure, I would, in case it plays out. It's a better price than where I got in, so why not? But I would not average in to the trade that I'm currently in, just because I don't want to size that up, because the only thing we're playing off is this divergence. The hourly candle, if you remember from the beginning of this stream, we wanted this to close above this zone, which it did not do. So if this divergence was not there, there would be no trigger to go long. The only thing we're playing off is a potential bullish divergence, which hopefully leads to some continuation by the close of this hour. So I would not average in, if that's your question. Keep it small. You can hold on if you want to use a stop. Like let's say you put in more than you're willing to lose, then you could stop either below this black line. Ideally, I would stop below all the way down here, yesterday's low, or just size down right now if you've put in too much. But I'm holding. Just hoping that this divergence plays out. Because besides that, there's no trigger right now. There's no reason to be adding to this trade. Oh, I was muted. Okay, yeah. So hopefully I re-answered your question. And the only time I would add to it is, let's say this divergence stuck and we closed above the zone. Then, okay, then you have a potential like legitimate entry just outside of these divergences. Then if it dipped back into the zone, then yeah, I would consider adding. Even if it's above my average price, I would consider adding in if you start seeing a confirmation of a bounce off the zone. But the fact that we're below the zone, there's no long setup outside of this divergence. Do you usually have a mental stop loss on GC? It depends. So it depends on sizing. If on a gold trade I push to the max sizing, which I've planned for the trade, then yeah, you need to determine a level where it'll get invalidated, because at the end of the day, like you can't, if you're sized too high, then yes, your account's going to suffer a lot if the price moves far against you. If you control your sizing, sure, you can use stops, but you can also manage risk with controlled sizing, like relative to your account. If you keep sizing under control, as long as the order book still supports what I think is going to happen, I'll hold the position. But let's say it pushes to the point where I need to improve my average, and to do that, I have to up the size enough. Then, yeah, just for risk management, you need to put in some stop losses at that point. Okay, so we're losing this lower level. You don't want to see that typically. Yeah, normally, like when you see a divergence like this, normally what you see is a good sized continuation candle next. So far, not looking good. I am holding on for now. I just have 2 contracts. Why do you not? How come you don't scalp QQQ as much as SPY? I don't know. It's a bit more volatile. Sometimes I do. Yeah, I don't know. Mainly the volatility. So, especially the past few weeks, my scalps in general have been smaller with Trump headlines hitting pretty much every day. And then if you add extra volatility on top of that by scalping QQQ, it just makes it even worse. So yeah, right now it's mainly just because QQQ moves a bit more, so it's feels safer to be scalping something that isn't moving around so much. But there's definitely a lot of good setups on tech too, and it's the same principles. I mainly just use my zones and the tools that I've walked through earlier. You can see how those are looking right now. Probably not good because the only thing I entered off of is that divergence, so I didn't even look at anything else. Tick is pretty neutral. Trend is bearish. We're below resistance, so nothing else really supports so long right now. Yeah, just looking back a bit, you can kind of actually see, just due to the overall market weakness, the divergences haven't been, they've worked, but definitely not to the extent that you normally see, um, especially on uptrends. So I guess I should have noted that before going in. I did keep my sizing small though, but yeah, just something to note. Sorry, I was muted again. I was just saying, so you want the hourly to close above this black zone to stay somewhat bullish here. Really, you want all the way back above the zone to really be bullish. But yeah, just pointing that out. This level down here, we've bounced off it 3 times now. So you want this to keep getting defended. Otherwise, we could test a bit lower to Tuesday's low.
And back.
I was muted. I was saying what's up. And yeah, so I'm in small calls right now, which in hindsight I should have waited on this zone to reclaim, which was the original plan. I just entered strictly off these two bullish divergences just because that has worked so many times in the past, just going in when you see the divergence thick. So what I was saying is, if you were using stops here on this play, this would probably be the spot to kind of be like, okay, we lost yesterday's low, so I'm going to stop out and then wait for another reclaim to go back in. I just have 2 contracts, which are getting wrecked right now, so I'm just holding on to those for now. They're not worth much anyways. Can you hear me?
Yes.
Okay, just making sure.
I feel like we need just more upbeat music.
To help the price go up. We need some bull music right now.
Yeah. Cinematic. Sounds worse.
It's a flush.
Ooh. This market, man.
Yeah, I was just on the phone with. I was messaging DoubleDips. I was on the phone with Top Step. How many people are watching this right now?
13.
Okay. Yeah, so basically with Top Step, me and DoubleDips, we requested payouts. Like for me, it was 3 weeks ago, and I was making consistent income just on the side, just for fun. But then
For fun.
yeah,
It's
I mean,
fucking
it's
guy. Only you.
some extra income.
5K payout. Just for fun.
Yeah, he's waiting on a 5K payout. For me, it's around there too, because I requested 2 payouts, and then normally they get approved within a few days, and we've been pretty consistent making money off that weekly. And then this time they're like, "Oh, your account's under risk review," and I was like, "No way, I didn't break any rules." So we've just kind of been in the dark for like 3 weeks, and I haven't been trading it. So they just called me. They're like, they're transitioning to some new payment system. So my request fell in the cracks. So thankfully, he's going to try to approve it today itself, which would be awesome. But so hopefully Trevor hears something similar. So I feel like this was more like a widespread thing. It wasn't just us two. I even went into their Discord and I was noticing a lot of people saying the same things. So I think it's just a general thing that's happening to people requesting payouts. So hopefully that gets sorted out now.
Yeah, it looks like I might trying to bounce here.
Yeah, so I still want the hourly at least back above this black line. Note that we got close to the Tuesday low and grabbed buyers there. And it's led to a good reaction so far, but still, to get bullish on this at all, you want this reclaim of the black line. Really, you want a reclaim of this zone. If you're in nothing right now, I wouldn't chase into calls here just because I'm in a couple calls. What you want is to long above this zone. That's a good sign if it can come back above 557.
Oops, wrong screen here. Dang it. Screen. Window. There we go. All right. Well, let me show. This is what I would be looking at. My rule of thumb as of late has been to, when I want a long, to wait definitely for zone balance, but also for at least the 5-minute trend to be green. So kind of the same setup as yesterday, hopefully, where we would do like one of these things, which if you look at what happened yesterday on the stream, I posted back when the candles were like here. This is what I wanted to see: a bounce up, a rejection, and a bounce back up. And that's exactly what we ended up doing. And because my top step is weird, I didn't do it, but I did have it written out. So I've just been really trying to avoid longing on downtrends, at least on the 5-minute. But yeah, that's kind of what I'd be looking for.
Yeah, no, he's completely right. The only reason I went in, like I said, was the divergence. And I thought I made it pretty clear I'm just going to go in just because of these. But outside of that, there's really no long setup yet. It's safer to wait until, yeah, like trend gets bullish or you get above, you reclaim these levels at minimum. You guys have any questions while we wait on this? Because I don't want to bore you guys. I'm literally just waiting on my failed trade to potentially play out off a divergence. Besides that, I'm not really looking to enter anything yet. No questions. What can we talk about versus just staring at this? You do a higher level analysis. Okay. So from a daily view, it looks very ugly, but we're sitting at so many extremes right now. It's pretty insane. RSI below 30 on SPY. Very rare to see that. Almost always you get a bounce off that. Another thing to note is, let me pull up this indicator. So this VIX to VVX ratio is technically what you want for the long entry off this trigger, which has like literally like a 90, probably almost a perfect hit rate to go long on higher time frames. Is once it dips below this, let me pull this down to a pane below, so it's easier to see. So once this dips below this 1.0 level, what you want to see is it to cross back above 1.0 for a long trigger. And this will work almost always. What I was hoping would happen was when we saw it dip below here to about 0.96, it had started curling up, and I was preempting that it would cross above right here. It did not. It continued lower. So what you want to see is for this to get back above 1.0, and that would be a safer long entry on the daily. And from a levels perspective, what you want is all the way back above 580. But I feel like this is going to happen much before we get back above 580. And it could kind of help front run longer term longs if you're trying to wait for a safer entry to accumulate longs or swing long. And then besides this, fear and greed is at extremes too. I think it flashed below 16, one of the lowest readings ever. And the bear spread is also at insane levels right now. It got even worse on this last reading, and it was already at one of the worst readings ever. Like the spread is at levels which has almost always led to a bounce in the past. So if you're just going off these extremes, we're about to bounce. But obviously when you use oscillators and indicators like this, which try to time bottoms or tops off extremes, things can always get a little worse. And yeah, the best bet is to wait on a reclaim. But if you're just looking at this from how much extended we are, we're at a spot which is almost always led to bounces if you're going off these indicators. So this is not the spot to be shorting, at least in my opinion. I think it's the spot to be accumulating regular stock at least. Maybe don't add leverage yet, but if you have extra cash, I'd be buying stuff like Microsoft, Google, Nvidia, Amazon, Costco. I think has fell a decent amount now too. I would definitely have that. Yeah, and if you're on low cash, then yeah, don't do anything. Wait on that 5,800 reclaim or 580 reclaim on SPY to kind of confirm a low. My screen just blanked out. Okay, I'm back. Still not looking good. 7 minutes. It's going to be tough to get back above here, but in 7 minutes, let's see. They can't hear you. I think he's on the phone or something. Yeah, he must be on the phone. So not a good sign. We closed below the black line. The only reason I'm holding on to the 2 calls that I bought is because it's just not even worth closing them. They're worth so much less now. So it's just a lottery ticket in case we get a reclaim. So beyond that, there's no setup right now. So what you would be looking for now is a short here. If we retest and reject this area, reclaim, provide the long. And then same thing, the initial trigger, you already have the trigger for the short, the hourly, like the first part of the trigger. So all you want to see is a 10-minute candle test and reject this black line for the short. For the long, you now need to wait at least an hour for the reclaim and then use a 10-minute candle as the trigger. So if you're looking to short right now, all you want to see is a 10-minute candle test this. You could even go between blue and black, test this area, and then reject out of it.
Sorry, I was on the phone.
All right, I'm back. I do have to leave probably in a couple minutes, probably now. Trevor had to leave too. So you guys have the plan for the rest of the day here. I still do have those worthless couple calls that I got off the divergence, which has hopped over to this candle now. But these two setups are, you already are, oh, looks like you've already gotten the short setup pretty much if you want to take the short, because we had a retest of this area between the blue and black zone and then a rejection out of it. So that is a short trigger down to this lower zone. I still don't want to fight these divergences, so I'm doing nothing. I'm just holding on to those two calls that I have. I will potentially add to them if we can get this middle arrow path, if that happens. But besides that, nothing yet. Thank you for tuning in. Hopefully you found a little bit of value today. And we'll try to be back tomorrow also. Thanks, guys. I will still be in Discord, by the way. If you're in my group, then I'll still be